Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Horror Film Lovers Mainstream Monday. I'm your host, Jonathan Moody, and I'm here with my special co-host, who's, I guess, he's special, in his own little way. He's been the co-host for Mainstream Monday since the
In a
beginning.
yellow bus type of way, in a short yellow bus type of way, special.
I I don't think so because usually those people, yeah, never mind. Let's just not. That's a whole other rabbit hole I do not want to go down. All right, so we're gonna be talking to. Well,
But John Ward, I never
John
said my name.
Ward
There
is
we
his name.
go.
Jesus Christ. You got me um sh shoveled up. Anyway, the we're gonna be talking about Malignant, which
Malignant. I could finally say that properly.
y
Malignant.
what were you saying before?
I could not pronounce it at all. It just was not clicking in my brain. It just has to do with me being dyslexic. But now
Was
I
it
figured out how to do it.
Malignant? I don't know.
Yeah, I just wouldn't say it. I would just say that new film by James Wan.
Thank God you're calling him James Wan and not James Wen. We had
Not
that,
James Wynn. Yeah.
So yeah. So James Wan, man, this is
James Wynn does have a new film coming out.
we don't want
and
to
and
talk
it's and it's not
and
a
not a
birdemic.
Birdemic movie. Good.
It's I think it's called like Giant Shark.
Is he
It's
did what? No.
yeah, yeah.
So Tommy
Oh no, that's
Wiseau.
Tommy Wiseau. Yes, I'm
No, Tommy's
sorry. I'm
doing Big
sorry.
Shark
Damn
and
it. Fuck Tommy Wiseau. I don't like him anyways. No, James. I'm gonna just pretend that James Wynn directed it then. Damn it, I forgot. Yeah, shit.
you got me I thought
Hi,
literally
Mark.
he was doing Giant Shark and what is the and Tommy was doing Big Shark and I was like, "Oh man, they could verse each other. Big Shark versus
Yeah,
Giant
that'd be
Shark."
great. Damn it.
Uh,
No, they're both bad filmmakers, so I got them confused. I got myself all excited
uh,
for nothing.
oh Lord. Anyway, we're here to talk about a good filmmaker who does
Yes.
well, a good filmmaker who does a movie that honestly is the weirdest fucking movie I've ever seen in my life. One of the weirdest.
I
It's
think it's his best film.
really.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people hate it, which I could
And
see.
I don't.
Um and
I
I can
don't.
see that for you too. So it's really it's a kind of movie that you're never gonna be on one side or the other. Or like you're never gonna be in the middle. You're gonna be on one side or the other on it. And I really enjoyed it too. I liked it.
I stick by what I've said in the past, and I've said it on several of our videos. I think where I think James Wan just went to Warner Brothers and just said, you know what, I'm gonna punk them and I'm gonna pitch this idea, and they're gonna let me do it because I make them billions of dollars, and they let him do it. And actually, how did you watch it?
On HBO Max.
So on the Blu-ray, which I have right here, it the only special feature on this is called James Wan's Visions. And
Did you watch it?
uh, I did. It's 14 minutes. Now, you know how people are always complaining about diversity and all that crap? Okay, this is the shut up after this movie, because James Wan, like an Australian Asian guy, he gets pitched by, and I don't know how they met, but the woman who plays like the forensics person that's collecting all the evidence,
Hmm.
that's the writer.
Okay.
She heard about this disease and pitched the
Wait,
idea. So,
was she the forensic girl who's so happy all the time?
yeah,
Like,
who has like a thing for the detective.
I guess, but she would go up and she'd be like, "Hey, you guys got to check this out," and I'm like,
Yeah,
she
yeah, she's
seems
very
way too happy for
enthusiastic.
her job.
Well, because the female cop, the black cop, I think knows that she has like a thing for him. At least
Oh well,
that's at least what I got
I
from it.
didn't get that, but I only
Yeah,
watched it
because
last night, and I didn't like, I don't know, like I hadn't watched it
well,
for a while since then, so it hadn't really been fully, I guess,
okay,
on
well,
my mind.
whatever. So she found out about this disease and went to James Wan with this idea. You know, what if this like kind of like parasite twin that's is like evil and like killing people? And he's like, that's a great idea. Okay, so now, and I think she might be British or maybe even Australian because she has an accent. And then they wrote the treatment, gave it to a writer to write up into a screenplay, which is a black woman.
Hmm.
I'm sorry. How do we not have diversity in Hollywood?
Well, because people aren't watching this movie like that,
I mean,
like it,
just do some research then for the people who are
because
complaining
this
about it.
movie's not going up for Academy
And
Awards.
and the cops are an Asian guy and a black
I
woman.
know these movies aren't going up for Academy Awards,
No, but it has
sadly.
everything in it. I
It
mean,
should
it's
go up for Academy Awards because at least for visual effects and stuff like that, for effects, it definitely should. For editing,
oh yeah.
good God, the editing was amazing. You know,
Excuse me. The
camera
only
work
thing
was
that
amazing.
oh
I
yeah,
mean,
the only thing that I could see that is a negative is adoption is bad. Don't
well,
adopt.
no, I mean, yes and no. The problem with this particular issue with adoption is the fact that the parasitic twin is upset and wants to kill the kill the baby before she's born because
Well,
he
and
doesn't want to be
killing
unloved.
all the babies that the main character who is
Yes.
also like British or Australian, I'm not really sure, but she has an accent too. Even the Asian guy who plays the cop has an accent, and so I don't know. It didn't say. I thought maybe they shot this in Australia or something, and they didn't. I think it was just shot in California. But yeah, it's killing. Which I forget. Maybe you could tell me. I remember last year I put on Facebook that I really disliked a movie because it was like 50 types of movies in one movie. I forget what it was, but I really hated it. And it's just like, yeah, I could predict it from the second the movie began all the way to the end because it's just ripping off 50 other movies. And I forget what it is, but this thing also rips off like 50 other movies. And I loved it because it was done so well. Because even the twin is killing the fetuses, which is kind of like butterfly effect in a way. How he
So
keeps killing himself with the umbilical cord.
so last night I messaged you briefly or whatever. I because we don't talk about the movies much before we do the review. That way it's
Yeah,
like
yeah, I don't.
fresh
Yeah,
or whatever. But when I was watching it, what did I say? Yeah, I said, I never realized how much Last Night in Soho reminds me of Malignant. Though I like Malignant more. You said I wouldn't ever put those two, well, you said foams, but you meant films together, you
damn
know.
voice
And
to text.
yeah. But and I said, well, you're never supposed to put phones together, you know.
Yes, you
Um,
did. They
but
say that's it's actually not the problem of voice to text. It's the person who's doing it. It's how you're pronouncing it,
yeah,
and voice to text is taking it literally how you're saying it. So it's my fault for not checking. It's not voice to text.
yeah.
So
Anyway,
I apologize to
yeah, so it's not your fault, voice to text.
voice to
Don't.
text. Yeah.
Anyway, so uh what I thought about it was like, well, they're both Giallo movies, They're both Italian inspired. Like, look, the red in there, and if you watch Last Night, so there's a lot of red, there's a lot of murder, the violence, kind of a little Argento in a way, like inspired. That's how I mean, James Wan was probably huge Argento fan and then also this movie's very basket case, you know,
Oh
and
yeah,
stuff,
it's right. James Wan mentions that in that behind the scenes that this is influenced by like 20 different types of films, like
right.
different genres, especially 80s horror.
But with the Last Night in Soho, the thing that made me think of it was that in Last Night in Soho, she's like dreaming of the murders that happened in the past, right? And she's trying to go to the cops and explain everything. The cops are like,
Don't spoil. I haven't seen it. Don't spoil.
"Oh shit, sorry. I thought you'd seen it.
I've
That's why
no,
you
I have
said
not
you
seen
never would
it.
have put those two together."
No, I just would have never put those two together. That's saying, oh, Star Wars is like American Pie. I would have gone, no, I would have never put those two movies together.
Well, you haven't seen it, so you would know. But yeah, they're very similar. If you watch Last Night in Soho, you'll see. a few similarities, but they're not this. It's not the same movie. But yeah, and that was what the thing I liked about this movie was the whole time you're watching it, and spoiler alert, once again, I guess I got a spoiler for this movie. Um, you know, if you haven't seen this movie by now, that's not my fault. And you're watching this review, that's your fault for going in here to listen to this. But the we find out that the parasitic twin who's been basically released, woken up or whatever, kind of brought back, has taken over her mind, and body, and is able to, you know, take and basically
Backwards.
kidnap people and and kill people or whatever, but she thinks it's just a dream, or just visions, or whatever. And really,
Well, yeah, not
it
not a
was,
dream, but yeah, that somehow she's connected to Gabriel,
yeah,
not realizing that it's her.
it's
And
actually her.
yeah,
Um,
and I did watch very closely when she's Gabriel to see if they kept having Gabriel go backwards, forwards, but walking backwards. And they did a pretty good job of it.
okay. So it really
Yeah,
was
and that's
Gabriel
because
controlling her or whatever. He's running around
yeah,
and stuff. That's interesting.
and we find that out at the end. Yeah.
But it would have been more cool had uh I I don't know. I would have liked it if we saw that from the very beginning, like,
No, because James Wan mentioned that he wanted to do a murder mystery.
I know, which is cool, but like maybe I don't know. It just would have been cool to see the fucking twin going. I guess you do see it. You do see it later, killing everybody. Like, I
I mean,
mean,
you get that great beginning, and then of like all the doctors being slaughtered, which is very basket case, and then you get all the then that great credit sequence, which he likes to do in his movies, which kind of tells about stuff that's going on. He did the same thing on like Dead Silence. He has that type of credits, and then yeah, no, I think it was structured perfectly fine. I like that it was at because the film's almost 2 hours, basically like right at the 1 hour mark when she's in jail and she wipes out all those people, including Zoe Bell, who I forgot was in the movie.
Hmm.
Um, that that's when we finally
Was
really
Zoe
see it.
doing stunts for the movie? That's
She was the main like mean chick in the jail cell, the one
right,
that
but I'm wondering if
looked
she was doing stunts too. If that was, isn't that
well,
her
she's probably
thing?
doing stunts for her scene. Yeah. Or
Oh,
probably for people in the prison there.
yeah.
But
She, it was cool.
yeah.
I
So
I liked. I mean, that prison scene was fucking awesome. Probably one of the best because like once you've sort of accepted that this has gone that route, where they start showing you the parasitic twin and all this other stuff, you start going, okay, this is just going bonkers. Let it just keep going bonkers. Like let it just you like you said
well
earlier, it's as if James Wan came in, said, I want to do this movie, but I know if you guys try to hold me back, you're gonna ruin this thing. Let me just
I
do whatever
I
I
don't
want to
think
do.
I think he pitched this idea and they said go for it. You've given us enough money. You've made us enough money. I don't think there was anything of like if you hold me back. I think it was just do whatever you want, dude.
Do
You
whatever
could
you
do
want.
this because he kind of did like with Conjuring 4, how they had at the beginning of it the contortionist.
Hmm.
That they had two contortionists here for Gabriel.
Right.
So when it's Gabriel, it's it was a black guy who was very tall, and they showed behind the scenes of him moving around, and it was just like, oh god, that looks painful. And then the other one, when it's more of, I think her name was Maddie,
Hmm.
is of that's a woman. So, and she's also a contortionist.
By the way,
So
the girl who played as her sister's real name is Madison. So I bet that was
yes,
fun on set
and she
where
was
she'll
very
be
hot
like,
too.
where they'll be like, "Hey, Maddie," and then both turn around. You know
What?
what?
Well, and she has one of the biggest questions I saw people like asking on like reviews and everything for this is, why did she park so close to the cliff, like right to that ledge when she was at the abandoned hospital?
Mm.
Like she parks right on there, like something's gonna happen, and nothing does.
Right.
And that's another thing I wonder if James Wan is like, no, just park it as close as you can, so then people are going to question you about it. Because I remember watching reviews for it, and people are like, why did she park so close to like the edge of that cliff?
Give
And people
people
were,
anxiety. This movie gives people anxiety because they don't know what the fuck's going on.
yeah, I just think that James Wan wanted to make just a complete and total batshit crazy movie. It's kind of like how Leonardo DiCaprio, figured out Orphan. And he
Right.
took it to producers and said, hey, look, I found out about this disease. What's another disease? Let's make a horror movie called Orphan.
Mhm.
And they're like, of course, Mr. DiCaprio, we will do that
We
immediately.
will do whatever you want, Mr. DiCaprio. You make us lots of money,
Yeah,
just like James Wan.
that's right.
James Wan and Leonardo DiCaprio should make movies together.
There you go. So
I'd be down with
I
that. Like, I'd be cool if James Wan did a movie with Leonardo DiCaprio. Like
that'd
I'd
be
be okay
interesting.
with it. Yeah,
That'd be interesting.
I think it would. I think because DiCaprio's in his time in his life, kind of like Tom Cruise, where he sort of can do almost anything he wants ever, like in the world of Hollywood, like I don't know if you ever heard that story of like I heard recently, not recently, but somewhat recently that Tom Cruise wants to make a movie in space. He wants to be the first person to actually make a full movie in space, you know?
And they'll let
So
him.
and they'll, yeah, no, they've already, it's on like, I think it's on IMDb as untitled real space movie or something like that, Like
Well, that was
it's
James
gonna happen.
Cameron's thing. James Cameron wanted to make Solaris, the remake of Solaris, in outer space, and it never happened.
Well, it
So
never happened because he started doing like a million avatars instead. Um, you know, love Cameron, but come on, man. Get with Tom Cruise and make a movie in space. Go ahead. You know.
I think I would probably prefer James Wan and Keanu Reeves. Get them together on some action movie. I think would work out.
Yeah, Keanu Reeves, I love him to death, and I love him, like I love him, and I love the John Wick. I love that he's so big on the John Wick. But that's the problem is like he hasn't really done much else other than the John Wick stuff, as far as I've seen, unless he's done stuff
Matrix.
that I never. The Matrix, newest Matrix was
For
nice to see a little, him
I
doing.
mean, but he still did 4 Matrix movies. He's doing another Constantine. He's done
Yeah.
3, Bill and Ted.
Okay. Well,
I mean,
let's not talk
Speed,
about
and he
that.
was smart enough
Newest
not
Bill
to.
and Ted.
So what's wrong with Bill and Ted?
I didn't like the newest one. Mm.
But it was okay. It was all right. It
Mm.
wasn't. It wasn't as good as. But then the second one isn't that great
I
either.
liked this. I love Bogus Journey, and I think that was the problem. Is I loved the first Excellent Adventure the most. Bogus Journey was pretty damn good for a sequel, in my opinion. I mean, they go to fucking hell, and they do a lot of crazy shit in that movie, and they play fucking they make fun of Seven Seal, which I hadn't watched. Never got the joke until later, and I'm like, that's from Bogus Journey. You're playing chess with death. That was funny. Like it
Yeah, they
was
they stole it from Bogus Journey and put it in the Seventh Seal. That's
exactly
where it
well because
came
they
from.
went back in time. Used the fucking
Yeah,
use the fucking phone booth. But yeah,
like Doctor
I
Who.
love those. And then the third one, it just felt like I don't know, it just felt kind of it felt forced to me, like they had to come up, and I didn't like the daughter or whatever, and daughters or whatever. I didn't care about it. But that has nothing to do with Malignant. So that's another
Well,
tangent. We got to stay on topic.
well, it's kind of like what you were saying, and it's like I thought it was well directed. I thought it was well acted. I thought it has great music. It has a score. I have it. I listen to it from time to time. And I just can't find the only thing that I don't like in this is I don't like the ending that much.
Hmm.
So, as we pointed out, spoilers. So I like that Gabriel kills the sister, And I like, you know, shoots her in the head. And then I like that he suffocates the mom, the original mom. And then we find out that it's like some sort of Village of the Damned type thing where it's in his head and she can now project that. So
how did
no,
he what I thought the daughter or the sister was dead, but then she brought the sister back up. Sister
no,
was alive.
she did a projection in Gabriel's head because she goes, we share the same mind. So I'm going to make you think that you shot my sister and that you killed our real mom, but he didn't. So that's why the mom is smiling at the end as the camera pulls back,
Yep.
and the sister's perfectly fine. And I don't know if they did that. I mean, one, it's obviously to trick the audience, but it's like I don't know. I would have liked that better. I think for the type of film that this is, I think that they should have died, and then you have the showdown.
Yeah.
You know, then
And
you could kind of do the
th
showdown in their head.
right.
That's fine. And there's I rewatched Creed 3, and at the end, the boxing match, at one point the entire audience disappears from the arena. It's just all empty seats and it's kind of dark. Even looks like there might be a little bit of like mist or something around the boxing arena. And
Hmm.
the two guys are just duking it out because it's all in their head. Like if that's the only thing that they're thinking about, is just the fight. And then one guy gets hit, and then it kind of brings them back to the audience. And I like that. I thought that was a good touch. And I wish that they kind of did that with this, is keep them dead, but then have them fight in their head.
Hmm.
I thought would have been more interesting. But I know, who knows, maybe they thought of sequel. I don't know.
I'm surprised that there wasn't like an alternate cut or something on that Blu-ray. Like you said, the only thing was the behind the scenes, but would have been cool if they had like an alternate cut uh where the girl did die and then maybe they or maybe they didn't ever shoot anything else. They just made it the way they did.
I
Maybe
think they
that's
just, yeah,
how
they
maybe that's how
just made it the
Warner
way they
Brothers
did.
did kind of step in as they said, we can't kill you can't kill the the sister because we care too much about her and we don't want her. And honestly, I was thinking about it and I was like, oh no, this is like set up for a potential sequel or something. Um, and I read on Google, I went to Google about it and James Wan has said that he has he has things lined up if it figured out for potential sequels.
I'm going to say no to that, and I will tell you exactly why. Because the budget on this movie is 40 million. It only made 34.9 million.
Yeah, it was a bomb.
So it's a bomb.
Yeah.
So I see no sequels unless they're like direct to video type stuff.
Well, here's the thing. Like, this was sort of uh post-COVID, so it's PC. It's PC post-COVID. Um, but it was
Pacific Coast.
or postcard. I don't know. PC. Politically correct. Um, but it was but no, it was after COVID, and I think that the problem, see, during COVID, like they were just trying to put everything on streaming too. And I believe this was one of the ones that they put into the theater and put on streaming at the same time for HBO Max. Because I think I saw this at home, didn't see it in the theater. Kind of
I
sad
saw
I
it at
didn't see it
home.
in the theater. What?
I saw it at home.
Right. So that was the thing. So I think they put it for free at the same time that they were uh at the same time that this came out. And so I don't that doesn't really count for the box office, when they do that. And so I think it lost a lot more money than it would have got had this come out in like now. Had this come out now, I think this movie would have made a lot more money. And
So you have to look at views. So they have to go. and look at HBO Max and figure out its views and
Right.
see if what it did as far as viewership goes.
And then you have to
Yeah,
probably cut half of that because probably only half of them would actually go to the theaters to watch it, and half of them would actually stay and see it in the, on there. Because if you think about it, not every like people even today, a lot of people don't go to the theaters. People still
I
tell
don't like
me,
going to the theaters. No,
right,
I don't. I've become very anti people.
I'm
I,
right.
I I don't want to, and I think I've even become like a little bit of a like a I'm kind of germ phobic now, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Like at work, if a lot of people shake my hand, and which I don't like, but I do it. And right when they leave, I'm immediately grabbing that hand sanitizer and just like, oh God, I don't want your
So
disease
you're
on me.
Mandel. It's okay. Howie Mandel hates it's very germophobic. Very, very notorious for being very
Well,
germophobic.
because people are gross,
I know,
you
I totally
know.
get it. I totally
Yeah, I
get it.
mean, it's and I'm gross too, so I'm not going to say that I'm not, but I my allergies are, and I go like that and stuff, so I'm gross too. But yeah, I just don't. Yeah, so I just don't like going to the movies anymore.
Yeah, well, I
And
mean,
then just my drive-in experience for Scream 6 and Creed 3 was awful. So I was happy to see them at a drive-in, but the pictures were too dark. I missed dialogue. So that's why
this is getting to the point where this is a thing that like Tarantino's been talking about is everything's digitally projected now. And I
yeah.
feel like a lot of times we lose some of the flair, of this. Though most of the stuff is filmed on digital these days, so maybe that's not a maybe don't lose much, but I don't know. I think on a at a
It it
theater,
does. There's that's why I don't go see a lot of these kind of when they bring back films, like if they go 2001 Space Odyssey, it's like if it's shown through a projector, like a film projector, sure, I'll go see it. But if it's just shown on a digital cam, projector, why do I want to go see it? It's like it's not the same.
yeah,
It just doesn't have that same feeling.
unless it's a 4K, like, whatever, like on projector.
I mean, I don't know. I used to work for Samsung, and my competitor would be right next to me at Best Buy, and he was with Sony. And Sony was the better product, but I couldn't say that. And
Of
Sony's
course you
been
couldn't.
shooting movies on digital for like 30 years. So like everything that they've done, and they've all been in 4K. So and they're just all sitting in like a vault and somewhere, and they then get converted down to be shown in theaters. And now that 4K is a thing, they're releasing the 4K cuts. But they've been shooting that stuff digitally for a long ass time.
No. Hmm. Well,
So yeah, so I don't know. It's I think probably watching this film on 4K on your TV would probably look great. But I don't know if I'd want to see it in the theater in 4K. Just to me,
I mean,
I think
I saw on HBO Max. I think HBO Max is 4K when, you have a 4K television, you know. So it looked beautiful. I mean, all the colors were great. I my favorite, I mean, like I said, we said directed and it was shot very well, but like some of those shots where they were like up above and in the house or whatever, and it was over.
that's that's all James Wan. That is such
That's
a
James
James
Wan's
Wan.
kind of thing,
That
yeah.
the whole fight that was in the police station was done with a robot camera arm on a dolly, and they set the tracks up. They programmed the dolly, and so the actors had to follow the camera, not the camera following them. And
Wow.
they would just hit the button, and the actors would then, and they were all stunt people, and they would all go do their thing that was rehearsed like 1,000 times. Even the person that was playing Gabriel wasn't in the suit. That's all CGI. They were in like a white suit with like all the different colored like buttons on them, so
That's
that they could
insane.
digitize it. And so it's just like fuck. I mean, for James Wan, this must be so easy. he's got to have this shit down packed. Like, I mean, I can't imagine him going on set going, oh crap, how are we going to do this? Because if like with the house that you're talking about, with a camera that's following our main character Maddie from room to room to room, and then it like goes up the steps, that's all a set. They just remove the top of it and then put the camera up, and then it just
Hmm.
went along on like a cable. But that's all James Wan. And it's supposed to be one shot.
Hmm.
So it's, but other directors I think would probably, okay, we're going to do a shot on the stairs, we'll do a shot on the doorway, now we'll do a shot looking down, now we'll do a shot looking up.
Yeah, they would do it where it's not very cool looking.
Yeah, and
And
James Wan's just
this is
across, which I think a lot of these guys get that stuff from Sam Raimi. When they do things like that, I think that's very Evil Dead.
also Hitchcock. Um,
Oh, fuck that
Hitchcock.
guy.
Oh,
That guy,
shut up.
he sucks.
He is one of my favorites, so shut up.
No, he is great.
Yeah, but there's like he was one of the first people really, other than maybe Orson Welles too. Orson Welles was later with Citizen Kane and doing so much amazing stuff. But like The Lodger, I don't know if you ever saw that movie or not, but it had like stuff where they would take like they would have like stuff coming up through the uh table, in the glass table, and you would see, you could see through like things like that, but nobody was doing stuff like that. Nobody was thinking like that, or even as simple as in Suspicion, because he wanted you to be suspicious, you know, about Cary
What's
Grant
the title?
holding up a milk, and he had milk, but they put like a fluorescent bulb thing in the like a little light thing in the milk to make it more fluorescent, so it like everybody saw it. And so when they would walk up, it would look brighter, so to be more your focus would be more on that. People weren't doing stuff like that. Directors are like, I'm sorry, I'm like that too. I'm terrible with, okay, this shot should be from up above here, and then we dally down here to this area. I'm terrible at that. I want to be better. And I watch these movies going, this is amazing. I want to be like this, like I want to learn how to do this kind of stuff, so
but
he's
but you
very
can, if it's a
inspiring.
bulb and milk. I mean, that's easy enough to
I
do.
know, but I don't want to copy the bulb and milk. I want to do
Why are you
something
just doing
different than
something
that.
different? You just like in Citizen Kane, they're talking in the newsroom, and well, the camera couldn't get down low enough, to shoot them talking. Like it cut them off like here. He's like, fucking dig a hole. And so they broke the concrete and built this hole that the cameraman could put the camera into and could shoot it, so then they could get the top of the heads.
Yeah,
So it's like, it's easy enough. You just have to be creative and think, okay, well, now even though it's studio property, we just have to bust open the floor and throw a camera in there.
exactly. What all I'm saying is like, for yeah, it's one of those things
I,
of
I mean, you probably wouldn't think about
I
it.
can't break my like, the set of a person's house's floor. I can't do that. But you can still come up with creative, different ways to do something when that's the shot you want. You know what I mean?
Well,
There's
yeah,
ways
and
to do
and you
it.
probably wouldn't think about it if Hitchcock or Wells didn't do it first.
Right. And
So
so
you,
those
you
guys
know,
like were probably the trendsetters of like, oh wow, this is really D.W. Griffith did a lot of really cool stuff for silent films and everything. A lot of crazy shots, things like that. So, we had a lot of these amazing filmmakers start the way, but then we have people like James Wan continuing the tradition. Edgar Wright is the same way, very stylized, director, is able to make these really cool shots and edits and whoosh, Shaun of the Dead being one of my favorite. I hate zombie movies, but I mean, if it's a good zombie comedy, I'm down, and Shaun of the Dead is one of my favorite horror films of all time, horror comedies of all time. That up there with Evil Dead. Sam Raimi, as you said. And so there are filmmakers out there doing this kind of crazy stuff, but they just all they have to do is think of like really cool shit, to do. And that's what James Wan does. He probably thinks in his head, okay, I want this shot, but I want this scene of her running up the stairs, but I want it to look really, I want it to look really powerful. So what I'm going to do is just have this set up here and then, have her run and then we can follow her all the way up because when you shoot up, it's scarier in my opinion. Like it's supposed to be like more, foreboding and scary if you're watching it from up, up high. So I don't know. I liked it. I loved what
No,
James Wan
his
did.
decisions are awesome, and kind of like what he did in Conjuring 2, with the house that's haunted. And I think I mentioned it in that video, is the set of the house is expanded. So he could do these shots that he wanted
Hmm.
because it was too short. The actual house, or the house that they were modeling it after, was too short. So he made the hallways longer on set so that he could have the camera kind of just like zoom by where they couldn't do
Right.
it before. So I mean, this is a guy who knows what he wants. And when I hear about things like, and I really wish I knew how they knew each other, because there's like no audio commentary or anything on the Blu-ray, is, young woman has idea about disease, goes to James Wan, he loves it, they write a treatment, and then they find and I don't know how they found the screenwriter, and then they give it to her to flesh it out. And
Well,
that,
I,
I
I
mean,
I think I
to me,
have a
that's
reason for that. Because I was doing a little bit of research. I'm gonna bring it up right now, but okay, the story was by Ingrid Bisu. She was the girl who played this was it CST Winnie. She was the very happy girl that you said had a crush on the
I think
cop or
so.
whatever.
Yeah.
And then Alika Cooper, who also did the screenplay for Megan, by the way.
Oh,
Yeah, so they have and she's going to be doing Megan 2.0, so they've already
nice.
been on working on that, and The Nun too. So she's
Okay, all
doctrinated,
right, all right. We got some hope there for some things.
and
Okay, because she's a good
she was
writer.
a Marvel person too. She worked on Luke Cage for a few episodes for the Netflix show. She did Avengers Assemble, a TV cartoon. Um, she did Jupiter's Legacy. She did one episode of that. So she was a TV writer for a little
As
bit.
long as she worked on Marvel before Phase 4, it's good. Anything from Phase 4 forward, no,
Yeah, it
I
was
don't want.
2019, so it was right before Phase 4. She got out as quickly as she could and went to work for Warner Brothers with Malignant and now The Nun and Megan. So
He's got his team.
yeah, he knows what he wants and he knows what he likes and he knows who's really good, at
But that's the thing that kills me with people like Elizabeth Banks. She sits there and bitches and moans and groans that she's not given the opportunity to direct a Mission Impossible movie. Okay, well, you kind of had one. It was called Charlie's Angels, and it bombed, which is why you ended up doing Cocaine Bear, which probably saved your career. But it's, but it,
she thought it was going to ruin her career,
yeah,
weirdly enough,
yeah.
but
And
no,
instead, now there's all these freaking ripoffs of it being made. But the reason why she's not directing the Mission Impossible movies is because Tom Cruise has a team,
hmm
and he works with that team over and over, and they just
but
switch off
you
being
do have to get
directors.
in on that team, right? Like there is a way in. It's
Well,
just
yeah, there's camps. So if you want to get into the James Wan camp, let's say James Wan camp is here. Well, okay, you're here in the parking
I'm
lot.
all the way in the fucking back.
Yeah,
I'm
you're
some
and so you have to
hmm.
get from, the city all the way out to where his camp is in the middle of the woods. And how do you do that? you have to keep doing stuff and maybe impressing him. Make a short film like the guy who did,
Yeah, like
Lights
we said for
Out.
Lights Out, and the other guy that did the short film
Yeah,
that we
the
really like.
haunted mansion. Yeah.
Yeah, that one. And so, and then that guy became his like best friend, his like mentor, or whatever. James Wan became his mentor and he
Yeah.
worked on
And
stuff.
then
And that's amazing. Like, I mean, yeah. So, but you can't tell Elizabeth Banks you gotta go make a good short film that impresses. She's able what you need to do is you make Cocaine Bear do really good. Make James Wan go, wow, I'd really love to work with this, work with her. But the thing is, she's too famous already. Like she's got
well,
a name to herself.
but you also can't bitch about it.
Right.
Who wants to work with somebody who bitches about it
I mean,
and gets shit wrong? Steven Spielberg has never had a female lead in any of his movies.
yeah, you don't see Ben
hand
Affleck
you
doing
know
that, you know? You just see Ben Affleck, going, oh, this fucking sucks. I'm gonna go make movies with my friend again, you know? And the movie that he's made is gonna be making millions of dollars in the box office.
which
Fucking
he did.
Air.
He's making Air.
Yeah, Air. That's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
because now he's got a new production company with Matt Damon making biopics for sports biopics. As far as I think that's because the next one's gonna be wrestling. So I'm basketball, wrestling, tennis, or something. Whatever's next. They'll probably continue down that route if it continues to make money in the box office or whatnot. He's doing one with like because the next was a wrestling movie with Jennifer Lopez. So bringing his
Ugh,
wife into
won't be
everything, wife into
won't
it.
be seeing that one.
No, I don't. It's a wrestling movie.
I will
I
not
don't
watch
know
anything with Jennifer Lopez in it. She's made one good movie and that's it. One. And I don't think it had
which one was that?
Out of Sight.
Oh yeah, with
And
is
that
it George Clooney?
yeah, Clooney's in that, but it's more the director than anything.
Okay.
So it's yeah, I can't stand her. I've said this before, where I wish I had a time machine where I could go back and stop Selena's, fan club person from shooting her, and then she would still be alive, and we wouldn't have Jennifer Lopez. So it's just I mean, I would rather have Selena singing songs I don't care about than having Jennifer Lopez make movies that I will never see. So it's like because I just don't want to see anything with her in it.
Yeah,
She's awful. She's just a horrible actress.
yeah. I
Everybody has one good one in them,
and
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 but
everybody
that
has
was
that one
hers.
person they just can't stand watching their films and stuff. So I get it. I
She's
particularly
just
don't
yeah, she's
care.
just I
I
don't like
mean,
her music. I don't I just there's nothing about her I like. I just don't want to see anything with her in it.
eh, fair enough.
Yeah.
But by the way, I was gonna watch today, but I didn't end up doing that because I ended up doing a million other things. I was gonna watch Fast and the Furious 7. I'm sorry, Furious 7. I
Yes,
guess they
please get the
dropped
titles
the
right. You confuse me.
I know, sorry, don't want to do that. Furious 7, which I watched like 10 minutes of. I watched like the opening with Jason Statham and some other stuff happening. And I was like, this is James Wan. Very cool shots. Everything's quick paced. Like I was like, James is a fantastic action director. Like
Yeah, and we've brought this up before that he even had to deal with Paul Walker's death, and but Vin Diesel was such a dickhead to James Wan that he chose not to come back. It was like a mutual agreement for him not to come back to the next movie.
it was his fault. Like it ain't his fault at all. But no, not at all.
No, just Vin Diesel took it out on him. So
That sucks.
I watched like a whole documentary on the entire Fast and Furious franchise. It was like a 3 hour thing. And when they got to that one, it was just like, yeah, it was just like, fuck, man, this James Wan went through hell on that movie. And it was all because of Vin Diesel.
I keep hearing that like Chris, the Rock doesn't want to work with him, and
But now The Rock is a dick.
Well,
for everything that he was doing with Black Adam and
yeah,
Shazam 2 and
which is weird because he was never. Everybody loved him. He was like the lovable guy. He was the guy that like show up
oh,
and
True
everybody just
Colors.
enjoyed. And then I mean, whatever. And then
True True Colors.
now Brie Larson is in the Fast movies. So it's like, ah, you know,
Well, I've seen all of them, so maybe I won't go see the new one with her. I don't care. Loved her and Scott Pilgrim.
loved her
You
in
know,
Scott Pilgrim,
and I was
directed by Edgar Wright.
that's right. And if you notice
That is right.
in Scott Pilgrim, what is on the drum set? What is the name on their band's drum?
I forgot. It's been a
It
while.
says drum.
Oh, that's right.
Now, Edgar Wright is a massive Monkees fan, and he tours. He has toured with Phantom of the Paradise and Head as double features because he wants everybody to see these movies. And in the movie Head, Mickey Dolenz's drum set simply says drum.
Nice. So
So
they
he
did that
that's a
as a
little
reference. Nice. Well,
yeah,
there you go. You
took a
got a
little
little get your
yeah,
little monkeys thing in there.
yeah.
In that movie. I absolutely love that movie. It's
I love that film
I
too.
had
I
it
just
on
don't like her.
4K. Then I guess somebody borrowed it or something happened, whatever. Lost it, so I had to buy it again. Now I have it. I know I have it. Same thing happened with Wizard of Oz. Like, I'm never letting anyone borrow shit. Like, I'm sorry.
No,
Like
I never let.
I like it's just nothing good happens.
Some,
Uh,
I mean, I have people come over, friends have come to my house and like, oh, can I borrow this? And I'm like, no, I think it's on Tubi. You just
yeah,
watch
you
it
gotta
on
watch
Tubi.
it. Yeah,
You
you
don't
gotta
need
watch
to
it.
borrow my stuff. I mean, I'm sorry,
Go
I
buy it
don't want to
yourself,
replace
man.
any of this
Like,
stuff.
I'm
This is a
sorry, it's like 10
collection.
bucks these days. Just go fucking buy a movie.
Yeah, you don't
Um,
need to borrow it from me. So
yeah, so
it's
I'm getting very annoyed, like, with that. But anyway, um, so yeah, I love that movie. I love Scott Pilgrim. Love, like I said, love Edgar Wright. Everything he does. I like. I haven't seen anything yet that I go, oh, why did he do that?
well, he was
Uh,
supposed to do Ant-Man.
I know. And I think he even still gets like story credit or
Story credit,
something.
producing credit, I think. Yeah, because
Yeah.
they kind of booted him off. But the director that they got isn't a bad director at all. So
Peyton Reed is amazing. I fucking
he's
didn't
yeah.
he do like the original Bring It On, if I'm correct? And
That I'm not sure.
yeah,
I know he
yeah,
did
he did Down with Love and
Down with Love, which I really liked. Yeah.
yeah, I love Peyton Reed.
So
I think he's him and the guy that directed The Hangover. I love him too. Can't think of his name at the
it's my
moment.
favorite trilogy, and I'm
You're blanking on the name too.
I gotta
He also did Joker, if I'm correct.
yes.
So
It's right here.
Ryan
Uh,
is it Brian? No,
right here. No,
it's not
no, Todd
Brian.
Phillips.
Todd Phillips. Todd Phillips.
Yeah.
Also did Road Trip, which is
Yes.
Road
Yes.
Trip, old school, like such a weird, you know, like eclectic, history of movies, in my opinion. I mean, they got similar, stuff, especially when he brings in the same was it
Well, when you look at the Hangover movies, I mean, they get darker and darker on each movie, and I think if he didn't do part three, Hangover 3, probably Joker wouldn't have been done
yeah.
because it's almost like that's what everything was leading up to was Joker.
Yep.
Not looking forward to Joker 2,
Oh,
but
you're not looking for the musical with Lady Gaga as Harley
I
Quinn?
like Lady Gaga. I got no problem with her. I just don't
Oh
want it to be a
yeah.
musical. I mean, she's supposed to be Harley Quinn, I guess.
Oh, I saw pictures of her as Harley Quinn. She looked good.
Yeah,
Like
I mean,
she
I
looked
thought
like
she
Harley
was.
Quinn. I was like, all right, I might be able to buy her as Harley Quinn. Don't know what's gonna happen with this being a musical. I don't know if
No,
it's.
no. I mean, I loved her in A Star Is Born, and I thought she was gorgeous in that. But and she sings in that,
I
and that's
loved her in
perfectly fine.
American
Because
Horror Story. You know.
I did not say I've only seen one season of that. It was 1984.
Oh, okay. Well, you should watch. You should watch it. It's not bad. It's just.
I should, since it has Emma Robertson, who I have a massive crush on. So
Uh,
love Emma
and
Roberts.
so yeah. So anyway, let's go back to
But
stay on target.
yeah, so I guess it's I guess what it what this started off with is people have their own group of people that they make movies with. And especially somebody like Tom Cruise, where he switches directors, he'll get Christopher McQuarrie, and then he'll get the guy from Oblivion, and then he'll switch back to, it's one of those things where James Wan has his own guys.
Hmm.
And even though they go off and do their own thing from time to time, like Lee does, they're at some point they do come back, even if it's just producing.
Right.
So it's since we do have a new Conjuring and a new Insidious, so
Right.
there's still that connection there.
Did you know, like
So
I was thinking about it. This also kind of reminded me a little bit of Upgrade. With the sense of like the talking, the thing talking to her or whatever, to her head, like inside her head. The only difference was when it was talking as a kid, when she was a kid talking to her, you never heard him talk. You only heard her talking to him. So it was like
yeah,
she
it's
was
only when
whispering.
it's like over a speaker
Yeah,
that it could somehow get into
I mean,
the
I never understood that
electricity.
part and stuff, so I
I know.
never
Oh, another
fully,
film that this The Dark Half, Stephen King,
yeah.
because
So
that's what that's they he Thad falls down, as a kid, and they take him to the hospital, and they had a hole in his head, and they see an eye and teeth, and the eye's blinking,
there
and
you
they have
go.
to get rid of that, and it never goes away, and so that's when his double is made and starts going off on that killing streak. So
Yeah,
it's
so
you.
very dark half too. So
Yeah, there's a lot of movies that this takes from, but it didn't bother me as much as that one that I wish I could remember. Everybody liked it but me, and I'm just like, my God, this is just 50 other movies put into one. And I'm like, I just thought it sucked, and now I can't think of what it is. I think it was something from early last year, and it was just like, why do you like? You're told to like this,
you're told
and
to
that's
like it.
yeah, and that's why you like it. It's like you have. I think it was something with like nostalgia bait on it or whatever. So it's like, oh wow, look, we got a remake or a sequel to this. It's so wonderful. And it's like, no, it's because you're programmed to like it. It's not that it's good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. This you weren't. I don't know. I don't think this you were programmed to like. This it's just
No, no,
sort
no.
of
This is a, as you pointed out, some people love it, some people hate it, and
right.
it's definitely that type of movie.
Yeah,
But
it's a like my dad would hate this movie. You know.
well, I remember some people on Facebook saying I like the first half.
Right. But
I like this. I prefer the second half. Hey, kitty.
what
Chris.
my dad liked about like last night's Soho, which is not a spoiler, by the way. I know you haven't seen it, but this is not a spoiler. But uh it's not a horror film really. It's a thriller, and stuff. So it's sort of like it's like a Hitchcockian thriller, which this movie is like Hitchcockian thriller. Like, could you imagine if Hitchcock and James Wan directed a movie together? Hitchcock at the peak of his career and James Wan at the peak of his, and they're just
Well,
get together
everybody
and
would be
direct.
blonde in
That's true. There'd be more blondes.
it. A lot more blondes.
James Wan doesn't seem to have a thing for blondes.
No,
And Annabelle Wallace, man, from fucking Annabelle. Annabelle from Annabelle. Annabelle Wallace, who played Mia, I guess was her name. And
oh shit, yeah.
yeah, you didn't realize
I
that?
thought she looked familiar.
Yeah,
Okay, no, I should have looked her up. Or I should have just
yeah.
looked everybody up.
So she was, yeah. So it was Annabelle Wallace, and she was Madison, and Sydney Lake was Maddie, and Sydney Lake had been in what else has she been in that was big? She was in a movie called I Saw the Light, which is a Hank
Don't know that.
Williams movie. Um, she was in, God, she's been in TV shows mostly, I guess. Like Impulse. Never heard of that show. Um, she was in Mr. Mercedes.
Oh,
Sh
Stephen King.
oh, is that Stephen King?
Yeah.
She was in The Recruit, a couple episodes of The Recruit. And what else is she going to be in? She's going to be in a movie called Elevation. It's a action thriller starring Anthony Mackie. So, like in the new Captain America. No. Um, but yeah, so I don't know. It's just like all the actors in this movie were great. I liked everybody. I liked the direction. I had no real problem with anything in this movie. Like there was
No,
nothing.
I was joking with myself because that's how sad I am. I have to joke with myself that everybody has their peak. You know, like the Beatles have Sergeant Pepper, and the Beach Boys have Pet Sounds, and in my opinion, Rob Zombie has uh, educated horses, and everybody has their, or Coppola has The Godfather. For me, it's this movie for
What, The
James Wan.
Godfather? Godfather, because Godfather Part 2 was great. And
There's a debate on which film is better, but I would say Godfather.
wait, when was the Apocalypse Now?
That's not considered to be his best movie.
But that was fucking amazing.
It bombed when it came out.
I know, but I don't care. It was a fucking amazing movie.
It is, but it's not considered to be his best movie.
Yeah, okay. So you're talking about ones that are considered to be like on top.
Yeah, like how are you going to beat this? And Coppola did with Godfather 2, but there's just that rise, and everything that you've done leads to that point, and I think this film is it. So for James Wan, so because I'm sad to hear about Aquaman 2 not being very good. So
I don't
I'll
think that was
watch it.
his fault, you know. I don't think that has anything to do with his direction, you know. I think that has to do with a lot of personal things. People probably, saying you need to do this,
Of
and then
course.
this person comes in and this producer comes in and says we need, you know what I mean? Like I feel like probably too many cooks spoiled that soup. And I think he was not, I don't think he was enjoying it, honestly.
No, and Jason Momoa has kind of been vocal about it, and I just saw pictures of him as the Crow. So he's already doing the Crow, and then he's supposed to be Lobo.
Wait, I thought Bill Skarsgård was the Crow.
Oh, they showed pictures of him on set. They showed like 3 pictures of him,
Was Jason
unless
Momoa
it
and
was unless it was just test makeup. But it's he had the leather jacket on with the makeup. Unless they said Crow and it was meant to be Lobo, because I heard Lobo. I didn't know he was doing the Crow until I saw the pictures.
no, he's not doing the Crow. That's Bill Skarsgård. I looked it up right now. He's not listed on the Crow, you know. So I don't know. Somebody might have posted something about that. Also, if you saw it yesterday, then definitely don't be taking it seriously because it was April Fool's.
Oh yeah, good point. Yeah, that
Be
is probably
careful.
where I
There's
saw it.
a lot of there's a lot of April Fool's things going on. Like, our buddy Brad Twigg. Well, I mean, not our buddy, but my buddy. I don't know if he's your buddy too, but
He's my
uh,
buddy.
yeah, he's your buddy too. He posted that he's got he had dude from fucking uh what's the guy's name? From Getaven and stuff.
Oh, Wings Hauser.
Wings Hauser. Yeah, Wings Hauser is the voice of the raccoon. Did you notice that's gone? That's off his Facebook now.
Oh, was that just a joke?
Yeah, it was a fucking joke.
I
And I
I
knew
I
it. I
I
knew it. I don't think I responded to it
I,
because
I actually went cool because I love Wings Hauser. I'm
I
slowly collecting
know.
all
I
those
mean,
movies, but
everybody treated it like it was real because the problem is people are posting things that are too similar to stuff that's actually seems like it could be real,
well, I got fooled. So
Because Wings is still
that's
alive. If he had
I don't.
picked
Yeah,
William Smith, it would have been hilarious.
I
Because
mean, I don't like the whole April Fool's thing anyway. So it's I love watching the movies and the horror films and stuff like that on it, but I'm not a big fan of practical jokes, especially when it affects other people, and
yeah,
stuff like Punked and all that. I never liked.
I
Uh, um,
didn't mind Punked. Just because at the end they always like announced it as, you're being punked, blah blah blah.
But
Like
still, you
it's
have to go through it. It's not like something like Impractical Jokers. It's themselves. They're making fools of themselves. That I like. But I don't like when the joke affects other people. So when I hear stuff like, "Oh yeah, Wings Hauser was going to do the voice of the raccoon," I went, "Oh, that's cool." I guess, is he doing movies again? Maybe I could get him for something because I love
he
Wings
supposedly
Hauser.
actually is. He was like he had one that's in his like upcoming stuff. So I don't know. He supposedly still is. I
I
don't think
want him.
he's
I would
retired.
I would love that. So I want to work all
I'm like thinking,
with his son.
why don't they actually make this shit real? Like, why not? Like unless it costs way too much to get Wings Hauser to.
I think he lives in Arizona.
Well,
See,
I mean,
I thought
you
it
just
was
have to do it like through voiceover. It's voiceover. It's a voice of
well.
a
That's why I
raccoon.
almost thought it was real because like House has got to be old now, and maybe he doesn't want to travel. So then you just have him record his
Yeah,
voice
you just pay him
and
a certain amount of money, whatever it is. You have him record
500,
his
a
voice.
thousand, whatever it is to do that. Yeah, that he just records it from his own home and sends it to you. So I didn't
But
think that it
I
was
just don't think that
impossible.
there's actually going to be a talking raccoon. That's the joke, I
No, probably.
guess.
Yeah, yeah.
And
I guess
so I
whatever.
think like that was, but already this movie was called Raccoon. It was already, crazy. So I think it wouldn't have been too far off to think, oh, and when I saw it, I mean, because the whole day yesterday I was being skeptical of everything anybody wrote. And people were posting things that people are congratulating them on, and I was like, oh, look at the date. Then people are posting things that were actually true. And I was like, look at the date, guys. And they're like, no, this is actually happening. Like somebody posted about the Flight of the Navigator getting a remake. Oh, it's been getting a remake for like a year, been announced for like a year, but nothing's happened with it yet. Um,
Eh.
so we don't know if Disney will do anything with it or not. You know, we'll see. But it was Bryce Dallas Howard is supposed to be directing that, you know, which I know you love her from all the Jurassic World movies.
I I don't mind her.
Yeah,
I
she's
mean,
good.
I think she's fine. I mean, she's a nepo baby. So I have like that, a little bit, but
Well, then so is Clint Howard.
no, but Clint he was doing stuff as a child actor too. He was on Star Trek,
Was he doing it before Ron though?
60s.
Oh.
I mean, you can if he's a little kid. I mean, you can't. That's the parents. I mean,
Yeah,
that's you
that's the
can't really.
parents throwing them both in there.
But she is clearly living off of his name,
Yeah,
so but she's fine. I mean, I think she's attractive and she's directed stuff and she's a fine
and she's a
director. I
great
think
actress to me. Like she's pretty
and
good. So I mean,
she's just useless in things like Jurassic World, where she doesn't really have a personality.
when that's
She
not
doesn't.
her fault necessarily, it might be the
No,
writer's fault and stuff, not, you know, um, I don't know. So yeah, so yeah. Anyway, point is like I don't know where were we going with that. Let's go back to Malignant and the movie we're here to talk about. Sorry, if
well,
you're just joining
and
us for the first time, you've never seen any of our
you've
horror
said
film
this
lovers shows.
before.
Well, this is normal for us. So if you're like, why do they keep talking about other shit? That has nothing to do with Malignant.
Well, I have no issues with this film except for I just don't like the Village of the Dam type ending, which
Right.
I didn't really like. But I mean, whatever. I just don't really have anything bad to say about it. I mean, to
No,
me, it's just it's I
I
think
don't.
that it's just a really good, entertaining film. And if people thought that they were going to get something more, is it Citizen Kane? No, not at all. But is it a fun? I mean, the film goes by fast.
Yeah.
It's just a really fun, entertaining, crazy ass like video game movie,
Um,
and I'm glad that James Wan made it.
the husband guy that gets killed and well, he got killed was pretty brutal, like pretty
Oh,
awesome.
certain people in the movie, and this goes for other films too, like the kid that Megan chases out onto the road that gets hit by the car. He deserved it because all he's going to be is just end up being like a date rapist or a
Well,
serial killer.
the
So in
guy
this, in this case, that the husband deserved it. He
Right.
absolutely deserved. If
And the
you're
girl even said, like, nobody does. Well, I think she said nobody, like the sister said, like, nobody deserves to die like that, but fuck that guy, like all that shit, right? Because
yeah,
he was a complete and total ass to her. And I think, I think, just like Megan. So maybe this is a thing like Alika Cooper, the writer, seems to like really sort of have a good grasp on, but is like these things that, Gabriel is sort of protecting her in some way, right? And stuff like he's also killing people that he feels is threatening to him, like the doctors and stuff, like he doesn't want to be
well, that's where Basket Case comes in.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the
exactly.
go-to.
Because that's why because I watched Basket Case for the first time last year, and I fucking like Paul had me watch it for I think it was the Patreon only, and I was just like, what the fuck is this movie? It's so good. It was so good.
Well,
Frank
not
Lauder's
to. I'm going to go off topic here, off target. The actor, I forget his name. The actor who
Kevin
was in
Linden
Basket,
Booth or something like that.
something like that. Yeah, my friend Cliff and I were at a Fangoria convention back in the day. I think this is maybe when around the time of Basket Case 2 and Frankenhooker.
This was before
And
Scream Factory.
yeah. This when just Cliff and I were working together at a theater. And we went there and I got the guy's autograph, right? I had a picture of him with, I think the Belial is its name.
Yeah, Belial, yeah.
And yeah, I call everything Belial, I think. And he signed it for me.
Nice.
Next thing I know, he's following us around. Like for some, Cliff goes, were we the only people that get his autograph? And I'm like, I don't know, but it's kind of cool. I think that like everywhere we would go, he'd be standing there. And
Right.
then like we went to go get lunch and he was right there. And it was not a coincidence. It was, I think he was following us around. Like he wanted to hang out or talk or something, Maybe he was lonely or whatever it was, but it was kind of strange, but kind of cool at the same time.
We had a similar situation with me and my buddy Robbie. We went to this is a long time ago. This is 2002, so like fucking over 20 years ago. I was at a Kevin Smith Film Festival, and I met Ernie O'Donnell, who, if you know from Clerks, was the Rick Darris, the big guy who's like, oh, you need to lift weights and stuff. You need to hit the gym, all that stuff.
Oh, the
That,
guy, the guy in like the tank top who looked like he didn't go to the gym anytime because he was
no,
so
he
thin.
didn't. Yeah, but he did have like some muscle to him, and I don't know.
I
Uh,
just remember. I mean, I'm probably misremembering it, but I remember a guy who was talking about going to the gym. It looks like he never went to the gym. He
no, no,
was just too thin.
I
It's like
thought he went to
Popeye
the,
thin.
but anyway, I met him at because they had a Vulgarthon, and so he was just walking around the uh was it Jane Silent Bob's Secret Stash, seeing everybody, all the fans and stuff, but didn't have like a table or anything. He wasn't there to sign stuff originally, right? But I saw him and I was like, hey, what's up? And started talking to him, and me and my friend Robbie did. And then everywhere we went, he would be there, you know, but like it was like he was already there first. So it was almost the exact opposite of what you were saying. It was like we were stalking him, but we weren't. We just happened to be like if we went to a restaurant, he was there at the restaurant, and we're like, we're not following you. We're just literally getting some food. We felt really awkward at times, just like we were stalkers or something. We
And he
weren't.
probably never noticed it till you said something, and now he's
Oh
awkward.
no, no, no. He saw us and he was like, oh, he's a good dude. I don't know if I'm friends with him on Facebook or not. But he is a good dude. He's out there still promoting Clerks and stuff. He was actually supposed to be uh Dante originally.
Mm.
Um, but or was he Dante or was he Randall? He was supposed to. No, yes, he was supposed to be one of the two. Whatever, yeah, something. I forgot. Whatever. I'm totally out of here. So anyway, whatever. Moving on. Malignant. I'm just gonna keep, just gonna keep going back to that like Malignant. I think that's pretty much it. I mean, we pretty much covered everything. There's really not much else to discuss with this movie.
Yeah, I think if you got an issue with it and you didn't like it or whatever it is, I think you should probably give it a second chance. It's on
Even
HBO Max, and
even if you didn't like it, like I'm I'm kind of glad it's got that polar effect, because I feel like that's a good movie, you know. Whether or not you like it or not, it's a good movie because it affects you in some way. You either really don't like it because it's not your cup of tea. You don't like it because it's not good. Nobody can say this was not directed well. Nobody can say this wasn't acted well. Nobody can say this wasn't scripted well. People can just say, I watched the movie that had that script and I just didn't find it my type of movie, you know? And that's fine too. This isn't going to be for everybody. And maybe that's also why the box office didn't do well because they just, people are just like, yeah, I don't think that
well,
doesn't
it's
look like
all.
my kind of movie.
I think it's also 2 hours. It's almost 2 hours. So I think that kind of.
Once
I don't
again,
know.
it was 2021. Not everybody wanted to go to the theaters and for 2 hours, you know, like I bet 90-minute movies were doing a lot better, and stuff.
Yeah, that's because when I put the disc in, I checked to see how long it is. I'm like, oh fuck, that's right. This thing's almost 2 hours.
Yeah,
Like,
you
good
gotta
thing I put it
gotta
on
make
when I
some time
did.
for it. I watched it last night before and then like I always do this. I'll watch it and then I will be like, oh shit, I got work to do still too. But it's okay. Like I sat down, watched the whole thing straight through, no stops, had a fun time, you know?
There you go. There
It,
you go.
it, it one of you're right. Earlier, you said this movie goes by like that, and it really does because you get so like trapped in the moment. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I did you think the first time you watched this movie that the woman, the main girl, was the woman working that was her mother who got kidnapped? I thought that for a second. I was like, I don't know, maybe I just totally missed shit, but I thought, when she got
I
kidnapped, I was like, why is she working at a tour thing? You know?
I'm gonna kind of say yes to that because I remember being confused on who the woman was that was doing the tours, and I didn't think it was the same woman that was in the attic. So I'm like, I don't know. Wait, are these the same people? Who I don't. So I was a little confused because a lot of these people look the same.
Yeah. By the way, last thing I'm gonna mention about like the direction and everything like that. That scene where she falls through the roof
Ouch.
and yeah, and then you hear this big scream and then it cuts to outside and you see the cop cars and there's the music and everything and it's just so fucking good. I'm like, once again, it had to have been like this was storyboarded and this was
Oh yeah,
figured
definitely.
out.
Yeah.
This was James Wan saying, okay, next scene I'm gonna have is gonna be the shot of the cop car, the sirens at the top, and then cut around here. We're gonna do this, and he has this. I mean, he is just a visually amazing director. He knows what he wants, and he knows how to get it. You know,
Yeah, I agree. I
and
completely agree. Yeah.
yeah, so I that scene. Oh, I just after I actually kept rewinding it because it was so good. It's one of my favorite shots. And that and the scene with them running and everything through the house. But those like and then there's that scene right there that's right in front of me, or right behind me. with her there, then it pulls up and it's one of his normal like, you see him lying like that, and then all of a sudden it straightens up, kind of thing. I love that stuff. Like I love when he does this in The Conjuring, he does this in Insidious, and he's just really good at just shooting, getting the shots he needs to get, exactly. So,
That's
um,
why I think this stuff has got to be easy for him by this point. It's just he's got to just do it. Like Spielberg and a lot of these guys, they walk on set and camera goes over here, put that over there, this goes here. I'm going to go get a cup of coffee, and when I come back, you should be ready. It's just like it's like going to work.
yeah.
Like I know my job backwards and forwards.
Well,
I mean,
it's
I could do a rental for a storage unit in 5 minutes when people would take 15 or 20 minutes to do it. You just know how to do it after a while. And I think he could just walk onto a set and be like, okay, I want this, I want this, I want that. Okay, now go do it.
I knew a guy who worked. It was on Lincoln, because that was filmed in Richmond and stuff, Virginia. And this dude was the guy who got to pronounce Lincoln, dead, and he said it was the easiest.
Spoilers. It's the only
Well,
Spielberg film I haven't seen. Lincoln dies at the end.
sorry, sorry. Have you really not seen that one?
Yes, I have seen it, and I know
Okay.
Lincoln dies.
So anyway, and I knew you knew that, but I didn't know if you hadn't seen it. I was like, Jesus Christ, man. You need that's like 2010 or something. You need to get your fucking ass, to the theater and watch it. Whatever. Um, but so
Oh, is that a Lincoln joke? Go to the theater.
no, it wasn't, but it will be now.
It's
All
kind of
right.
offensive. Why don't you give it some time?
I know, geez, it's not like it's been a lot of time. Anyway, was that too soon?
Too soon, man. Too soon.
Anyway, so he just said what he did was he had the shot right here, like a certain shot. He came in, did his line. He said, "That's great. Can you tone it down, a little bit, right?" Came back, did the scene again. Good. All right, cool. Cut. We're gonna shoot it from this angle now. So cut, do it, right? Did that like 5 times. And then he said, okay, great. One little scene of him saying that line. They shot from all these different angles, probably got every single thing that they needed. Not a huge amount of time, but got everything done and he was done. And like you said, it was probably this is work. This is like him going to work, saying, okay, I want this done. All right, good. Cut, print, wrap, we're going home, you know? And that's James Wan. He's like, okay, I want this. Good. Here, this, here, bub. Let's go home. Let's have fun. This is all gonna cut great because he knows what, you know, he knows what it's gonna look like in his head, you
Well,
know.
and he seems to be, from all of the behind the scenes stuff that I've seen, is he seems to be a monitor director. Where some directors are right up there where the actors are. He seems to be more of a monitor director. So he's looking
I
at
I like
all these
people that are in
screens.
the what are they called? A village, video village. I like people who are,
That's kind of what he is. Yeah,
yeah, so he stays back in the video village and he watches, but he does that so he can see what the camera sees. He doesn't want to see what just the actors see. He wants to see what the camera's seeing so that he can get the best
well,
look.
there are
And
portable, monitors that they watch. They just hold them and just stand there and watch it. But he just seems to be like a village guy. So,
yeah, I actually would love to be a village guy. Just we don't have money to to do that necessarily. So you usually have to be right next to the camera guy and like kind of we both view through the lens, or through the thing. So that's but one day, man, I'm gonna be a village guy. That doesn't sound right. Be a
you might be
village
the you
person.
you might be the cowboy. You could be the Indian. Might even be the
Hey,
construction
Nate,
worker.
Indian is very offensive. Don't say that. You don't say that word anymore. You're going to be
He is
canceled if you do.
Indian. That's what he is. And the Village People, he's the Indian. He's not the Native American. He's the Indian.
I'm sorry, but you
Just
can't
like
say that now.
the guy's the cowboy, the guy's the biker, the guy's the cop. That's what
Hmm.
it is. Sorry. People can go fuck themselves. That's what it is. If you look at the Village People, it says Indian, or at least it
Nah,
used to. You know.
I don't know what it says now. Who knows? Like, I don't know. I just you gotta be careful what you say, man, because you never know. They'll come back and haunt you, dude. You know, I'm just pointing that out. You know, not my problem. All right. Well, I think that's it. Uh, you
Are we
know.
going to do a rating?
Oh yeah, fuck. I forgot. We do ratings for this. Um, what are you gonna give it?
I give it a 4.5 because I love that ending. So 4.5
Yeah,
out of 5.
I'll give it 4.5 too. It's not a perfect movie by you know what I mean, but
No.
it's as close to perfect as you can possibly get
Well,
one
yeah,
of
I
these
mean,
kind of
if you
movies.
want to really nitpick it, all how does Gabriel become John Wick?
How does Gabriel like how do any of the how does the radio frequencies work? Because it's supernatural, right? That's the only thing I can imagine.
Yeah, you just don't explain it, and then it works. You just
Right.
that's the
Well,
problem is if you
it's
explain it, it doesn't work. You just don't.
right. But if you don't explain it, then you're just like, okay, you know, like you just
Well, yeah, because
accept it.
you can't question something that's not explained.
Right.
It's I remember somebody online for Top Gun Maverick complained that when at the beginning when his plane explodes and then it cuts to him walking, Tom Cruise walking on the street, and he goes into the bar and he's all kind of messed up and stuff, and it's a funny scene. Is somebody go, oh, he wouldn't survive that? They never explain that. They never do any. I remember watching this review, and it's like, that's why they don't explain it, because he wouldn't have survived.
Yeah.
So you don't explain it.
Yeah, I
It's just,
didn't it
it's
didn't
just
bother me because I don't know
no, because it's a
physics,
funny scene.
or
You
whatever.
know, the plane blows up. We think that he's dead. Cut to him entering into a little cafe with the kid. And it's a funny scene. Who gives a
No.
shit if it doesn't explain that he parachuted out at the last second and dropped down 30 miles away and had to walk? It just it doesn't matter. You don't have to explain it.
Right.
That's the thing.
So there,
Actually,
anyway.
actually, it might have been the pitch meeting. I think it was him who brought it up.
Well, yeah, and then when he brings it up, it's supposed to be jokey, like, or whatever. Like, oh, we're not gonna
Well,
explain it.
yeah, right, but he does. Yeah. The guy goes, I don't know. He goes, fair
Yeah.
enough.
Right, exactly. Which just is funny because that's literally probably exactly what you're thinking. Like if I don't think he's did Malignant, but if he did Malignant, he'd be like, "How does that work?" He'd be like, "I don't know." He'd be like, "All right,
Yeah. So why does Gabriel have John Wick style martial arts? I don't know. Fair enough.
oh, okay." Don't ask me these things.
Yeah. Get all the way off my back for that one.
I'll get right off that thing there. I
So
love that guy. He's my I don't just watch his pitch meetings now. I watch everything he does because
I
he's
watch a lot of his stuff.
funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, I would have loved to see what he had to say about Malignant. Maybe he will do it because he's been doing a lot of random stuff lately because not everything's
I
coming
think
out
he
that
asked. You could just put it down in the comments. I think he's asked before. He's like, "What do you think I should do next?"
yeah. So there you go.
Yeah,
I'll put it down. Say Malignant.
there you go. So
I want
then,
to see something crazy. Him going, Warner Brothers, you got another movie for me? you know, well, I got this crazy movie. It's gonna be
well, yeah.
awesome.
Then at the very end, when he goes, "Oh, this is James Wan. It's going to make a ton of money," it cuts to what it made at the box office, which was like nothing.
Ouch. Sorry, James. We love you. We do. We really do. We,
Hasn't hurt him. So
yeah. I don't think he watches these things. I don't even tag him because I'm afraid to tag him in this
I wish
stuff.
he would. I think
What?
it'd be, yeah. I wish that he would watch these. We put enough work into them.
I
We have
know.
enough of them. It'd be nice to see his opinion.
You
Or
know what? I'll message him, but I'm just so afraid. Like I might be like, we did this movie," and he'd be like, you ruined my love of this movie, making this movie, blah blah blah. Like, you
I
just
think what you would probably, if it was a private message, you would probably get one of his people going, "Thank you." That's it.
I think that's really him.
I think Facebook in the post it's him,
Yeah. No,
but I mean,
I've messaged I've
I've never
messaged him before and had actual conversations with him. So I think it's really him.
maybe
I don't know. Maybe
so.
it's his people, but I don't know. I think so. We'll see if he might unfriend me after this. I don't know.
I don't think so because we're only praising it.
I know. Well,
I
no,
can't help it if the film didn't make money.
I'm saying
It's
because
not
we're
much,
talking about this now. It's like,
but
oh, I'm
but it,
friends with that guy. That's right. Like, unfriend.
I'm friends with him too. So I mean, it's
Uh-oh.
if he had any interest, we probably would have heard by now.
Yeah. Well, if you even seen him, I mean, he probably gets lots and lots. I mean, he probably has no time to like pay attention to Facebook posts.
Yes, he has a real job.
Yeah, making he's making a fucking fish movie. Um, so he's kind of busy right now, you know.
With a turd.
Sadly. All right. Anyway, moving on. I guess that's it. Yeah, four and a
Yeah,
half for both of us. And
yeah.
we both really, really loved it. And as we said, we say praise for this movie because it's really good. Like it's just really batshit crazy. And once again, you're gonna love it or you're gonna hate it. But you're probably not gonna go, it was meh. I think Paul would be the same way. He probably would hate it because it's Hollywood and it's not his kind of, like, he'll still probably, even though I think this is like the closest we're gonna get to like a full moon Hollywood movie. Like this is what Full Moon would do if they had millions of dollars. They'd make a fucking batshit crazy movie like this, and people would be like, "This is nuts. Why am I
With midgets.
with midgets and yeah, and puppets? More
Midgets and
puppets.
puppets.
Yep. I mean, that's not a bad thing.
I'm sorry, little people.
Little people.
Little people.
Once again, you're gonna get canceled. Just keep saying this stuff. No, no.
Village people, he is known as the Indian. Now, if they've changed it, I don't know. That's just what he's been called. But I do know, that midget is wrong, that it is little people. But every once in a while it pops out and you just correct yourself. That's all.
There's other phrases for whatever, but we can't say any of that.
There's a lot worse that
I
people can
know.
be called. So.
So yeah, little people is nice. Let's keep it at that. You know, little people and puppets. We can. There's no problem with saying puppets these days.
No.
Yet.
Yeah.
Soon,
True.
soon, somebody in Yale is gonna figure out that puppets is a wrong word,
Everything's the wrong word these days.
or Harvard, and be like, nope, you can't say that word. Don't go
Webster's
through.
dictionary.
Don't go through that door.
Yeah.
All right. Well, everybody, if you're still watching, I am shocked. Go subscribe to us. Like
Share,
this video,
like,
share, let people
comment. Did you
know what
like Malignant?
you said it. You got
Yes.
it.
So if you liked it, let us know.
Yes. If you didn't like it,
Talk
also
to
let
us.
us know. We want to hear
Yeah.
that shit. Because a friend of mine, I posted a picture of the poster and he said, I hated this movie. And I said, I'm not surprised. And, this is one of those things, hate it or love it, kind of movie. So I'm not,
Sometimes you just have to hate things, like I hate Adam Sandler. So you just I would say maybe hate is too harsh of a word, but I'm in this case I'd say no.
hate's a harsh word for me when I say I hate Wes Anderson, but, not a fan, that's not a fan. That's what I'll say. You're not a fan of Adam Sandler, and that's cool.
Waste of time.
I'm not a fan of Wes Anderson, waste of time. But everybody else seems, people like the stuff. I
You
just
seem to
don't
like
I
both
don't
of
get
them.
it, but I don't I don't get your hate for Adam necessarily, but I like Adam. I grew up on Adam, and I think that's also another
I think he's
thing of
horrible.
like,
He's
when I was
not
in middle
funny.
school is when his career started to really take off,
I like him as a dramatic actor. That's the same thing with Robin Williams. I don't find Robin Williams to be funny, but I don't hate Robin Williams. I like Robin Williams as a dramatic actor. I think he's
Have you seen
very good.
Uncut Gems yet?
Yes, and that's dramatic, and he is good in it.
Right. I haven't seen it yet. I own it, and I haven't seen it yet. I'm gonna watch it soon. So
He's annoying in it. That's but he's supposed to be annoying. His
right.
character is
Well, it's
annoying.
supposed to be like anxious or something, a lot of anxiety and
He's
everything.
very Woody Allen
Yeah.
in it. He's very
I've heard it's up to the
stuttery, and
extreme though. It's like a little extreme.
that is one of the problems. But it's not him; it's the character. So it's
And
just like,
it's yeah,
oh,
it's the
okay,
direction of it, and everything.
yeah. Which I'm not complaining about at all. It's a good movie. He does a good job in it.
Right.
I just don't find him funny. He has some new movie out with Murder Mystery 2 or something with Jennifer
Yeah.
Aniston, and I'm just like, fuck no, I ain't watching this.
Don't watch it.
Garbage.
Don't watch
Horrible.
it. It's fine.
No,
I'm not telling you.
no,
I don't expect you to watch his movies, his comedies, or
no.
even you don't even have to watch his dramatic stuff. If you want to, if it's something that sounds interesting to you, watch it. But I personally will check stuff out. I like it. I like his movies. I like his produced movies, like all the Happy Madison stuff,
Oh,
and
sweet Jesus.
yeah, fucking The Wrong Missy is what saved me in fucking 2020, man.
Oh
I
my
was
God, are you serious? That is literally one of the worst, and I don't use literally a lot. That it is literally one of the worst movies ever made. It is so awful,
nope. I loved
so
it. Thought it was
awful.
hilarious.
My God, is she annoying?
That was
So
the
annoying. I
point,
would have.
and it
I
cracked
no,
me up.
no.
It cracked me the fuck
There's a
up.
line. There is a line, and she had no idea where that line was. Oh my
Well, that
God,
was,
is that
I mean, that
horrible?
was that was all the point of it. So, I
No,
mean,
no, no. Yes, that she is obnoxious, but there's a line.
mm, I don't know.
So
I loved it.
and
That
she
was
destroyed
hilarious,
that. Oh my
and
God.
I love that actress too. So, I mean,
Uh, I,
you
I,
know.
I can't talk to you anymore. I can't talk to you. I'm getting a headache.
All right, everybody, have a good one. Hope you guys enjoyed this, and join us next week where we're gonna
Ugh.
be doing Dead Silence, I think is
Dead
next.
Silence.
Dead
Yes.
Silence.
Yes.
Um,
Dead
join us next
Silence.
week for Dead
Also
Silence.
directed by James Wan.
Also directed by him, and it's a horror film directed by
And
himself.
it's Lee Wanell. So we're going back to Lee too.
Ooh, damn, we should have probably done that earlier then. Oh well. Should have done that right before this one, but
Yeah,
eh,
yeah, maybe.
whatever. It doesn't matter. It matters not,
It does
literally.
not.
All right, literally, and I said literally. So, all right. Hope you guys enjoyed this, and join us next week. Until then, everybody, bye.